You know, as artificial intelligence gets more and more powerful, have you ever stopped to wonder why it still feels so, well, alien? Today, we're diving into some really fascinating research that argues the key to the next big leap in AI isn't just about more data or bigger computers. Nope. It's about returning to the original source code for intelligence, our very own brains. So let's get into it.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the weird and surprising limits of the AI we have today. Then, we're going to unpack 3 incredible lessons from neuroscience: the power of the brain's super-efficient wiring, its sense of rhythm and timing, and maybe most importantly, how it learns by doing things. And finally, we'll see what the future could look like if these two worlds, AI and neuroscience, really came together.
I mean, think about this for a second. It's a really strange paradox, right? An AI can turn out beautiful poetry or incredibly complex code, stuff that seems super sophisticated. And yet, it can completely fall flat on something as basic as understanding why a simple joke is funny. This one question really gets to the very heart of the problem with how we're building AI right now.
And this slide really lays out the difference. Modern AI is an absolute master of pattern recognition. It's brilliant at classifying data and generating text based on the mountains of information we feed it. But just look at what's missing. True abstraction, understanding cause and effect, being crazy energy efficient, and the real holy grail, solving brand new problems it's never seen before. Just making our current models bigger and bigger isn't going to get us there.
And that brings us right to the core idea of this research. The way forward isn't just to keep building these massive digital brains with the same old designs. It's about going back to the biological blueprint, the one that evolution has been tweaking for millions of years, and asking, okay, what fundamental principles did we miss?
All right, so the very first lesson from the brain's blueprint starts with its physical structure, its actual wiring. And as you're about to see, the secret to its incredible power might just be in all the connections it doesn't make.
This is such a critical difference. We usually build our artificial neural networks to be really dense, where pretty much every neuron in one layer is connected to every single neuron in the next. It's very rigid. The brain, it's the complete opposite. It's unbelievably sparse. Less than 2% of all the possible connections are actually there. Now that's not a bug, it's a profoundly important feature that gives it incredible flexibility and diversity.
So what is this structural sparsity? Well, it's just this principle of having way fewer connections than you technically could have. And what's so counterintuitive is that this limitation doesn't hold the brain back. In fact, it unlocks this explosive combinatorial power, which lets a limited number of neurons create a nearly infinite combination of thoughts and ideas.
And the benefits are just staggering. First off, it's massively energy efficient. It also lets the network basically reconfigure itself for different jobs on the fly. It creates what's called a small world network, which just means any 2 brain cells are connected by a surprisingly short path, perfect for fast global communication. It also supports these super-connected hubs of neurons called rich clubs that form a stable core for processing. And ultimately, this sparsity is the key to the brain's massive expressive power.
Okay, but a smart structure is only half the puzzle. The brain's second big secret is all about how it operates in time. Because intelligence isn't just about having the right answer, it's about using it at the exact right moment.
This quote from the research really just says it all, doesn't it? For any living thing, timing is everything. An action that's perfect 1 second could be a fatal mistake the next. This is a whole dimension that most of today's AI models, which work in these kind of timeless, discrete steps, completely miss.
So how does the brain pull off this amazing timing? It uses nested oscillations, what we call brain waves. Think of it like this. A slow, powerful wave sets the general context, sort of like opening a phone line between 2 parts of the brain. Then a much faster wave rides on top of that slow one, carrying the specific, detailed message down that open line.
And this isn't just some one-off trick. It's the brain's fundamental operating system. You have this whole hierarchy of rhythms, from slow waves setting the big picture, down to the fast ones carrying all the tiny details. It allows for this unbelievably complex coordination of information across the entire brain. And what I find absolutely amazing is that this exact same system is found in all mammals, from the tiniest shrew to the biggest whale. It's nature's universal solution for computing in time.
Which brings us to our third and final principle. Okay, we've got the brain structure and its timing, but how does it actually, learn? Well, unlike an AI that just passively swallows massive static data sets, the brain learns by actively and purposefully going out and engaging with the world.
To really get this, let's look at a quick case study. When a rat explores a new place, its brain builds a mental map using these special place cells. But how on earth does it do this so quickly?
We're talking in a matter of minutes sometimes.
Okay, here's the incredible finding. Scientists watched these rats and saw that new place cells didn't just form at random. They formed at the exact moment the rat would pause and do this attentive head scanning behavior, literally looking around to gather information. The very act of paying attention and actively seeking out information was physically rewiring its brain map in real time.
So the huge takeaway here is that learning in biology isn't this passive thing where you just absorb data. It's active, it's attentive, and it happens in these focused little bursts, all driven by a need to understand something specific about the world. It is a totally different philosophy from how we train an AI on a static dataset for weeks and weeks.
So there you have it, our 3 big principles: sparse networks, rhythmic timing, and active learning. The authors of this paper argue that the future of AI really depends on bringing these ideas from neuroscience into the fold and creating a true convergence of the 2 fields.
Right now, these 2 fields are often stuck in their own little worlds. On one side, you have mainstream AI, which is all about efficient training for specific applications, and that's led to getting kind of stuck with certain hardware and software. On the other side, neuroscience is focused on therapies and often reduces complex behaviors down to simple circuits that might not be telling the whole story.
But by bringing them together in what the authors call a consilience, which is basically a fancy word for a true unity of knowledge, we can break out of these traps. AI can give neuroscience amazing new tools for modeling the brain, and neuroscience can give AI the fundamental, time-tested principles for building a totally new kind of intelligence. It's all about finding those shared principles that drive intelligence, whether it's in a brain or on a chip.
And that really leaves us with one final big thought to chew on. An AI that's built on these principles of sparsity, timing, and interaction, it wouldn't just be a little bit better at recognizing cats in photos. It might be able to reason, to abstract, to truly understand cause and effect. So you have to wonder, what new frontiers in science, in medicine, and human creativity could we possibly unlock with an AI that doesn't just compute, but genuinely thinks?